what's up, guys? So I'm back again, and I'm going to do another episode, but I'm going to do a boxing rundown. So grab your beers, and let's get ready to go. I'm going to start out with the Ryan Garcia. After the big win against Mario Barrios, he has a lot of options on the table. Some people were saying they need to run it back with Ryan and Rolly, since Ryan is now the WBC champion at 154 pounds, and Rolly still holds the WBA title. But I think the fight to be made now is the Haney fight, especially after all the bullshit that's been going back and forth between Ryan and Devin Haney and his father. Like, I think they need to run that one back. I know they keep saying, oh, he ain't the same fighter with the Austrian out of his system, and he doesn't even sound the same. And Ryan's like, yo, you a bitch, you the biggest bitch, and all this and that. They've been going back and forth online. Ryan said, he put out a graphic of Ryan Haney 2, and Haney said, well, let's start the VADA testing now. And Ryan was like, yeah, bet, let's go. Like, let's do it. I'm not going to disagree. I think that's the biggest fight at 147 that you can make. Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, the rematch, and it's all on the line. And I think in the meanwhile, Rolly still holds the WBA title. I think he needs to get with Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn is the promoter for Lewis Crocker, who is the IBF champion. He's from Belfast. Man, you could do a big fight between Rolly and Lewis Crocker, and then basically like a tournament style. Have Ryan Haney on one side, Crocker, Rolly on the other side, and the winners fight the winners and become undisputed. I mean, that's the best way to do it. I would love to see that. And they should do that. I mean, why would you not want to see who the best is in that division? You know, if we've learned anything from Bud Crawford, be the best. Make yourself undeniable in a weight. Whichever weight it is, make yourself undeniable. Be undisputed. You know, that's how you really know you are the best in the world. So Ryan needs to fight Devin Haney. Rolly needs to fight Lewis Crocker. And then the winners fight each other to unify undisputed. I think that's the best. If I had to pick the way Ryan looked against Barrios and the way he put the beating on Haney the first time, Austrian or not, I'd still give the edge to Ryan. I think he's in Devin Haney's head mentally. I think Devin Haney is not ready for that fight, doesn't want that fight. I think Devin Haney probably was like, well, I'll fight Rolly or I'll fight Lewis Crocker. I'm not saying he's a bitch or nothing like that. I'm just saying if you want to maximize your amount, your winnings, your earnings, everything, that's the fight to make, because they are both going to make a huge bag. They're both champions. You know, Haney got the no contest, no decision after Ryan had tested positive for the Austrian. So run it back, and whoever's the winner fights the winner of Rollies and Crocker. I think that's what it should be made. I think that's what should be made, and I think that's the best way to do it. Make a tournament style at 147 and see who's the best. See who can become undisputed. I think that's what it should do. I think that's how it should go. And I think at the end of the day, I think Ryan is going to come out as an undisputed champion. I think he beats Haney again. I think Rolly beats Lewis Crocker. And then you can rematch Rolly versus Ryan in a super fight. Rolly has one win over him already. Man, that'd be huge. If Rolly comes in as the WBA IBF champ, Ryan comes in as the WBO WBC champ to unify, that'd be a huge fight, a huge pay-per-view they could make. Man, I'm all in. I am all in. All in on that fight. Keeping on the boxing. This whole thing is going to be a boxing episode for me. 154. So super welterweight. Ryan and them are at 147. That's welterweight. Super welterweight at 154 pounds. Golden Boy is taking Virgil Ortiz into arbitration over the negotiations with Boots Ennis. And that's just going to be ugly, man. I don't like it. I mean, it's giving me Mikey Garcia vibes when he was going through all that with Top Rank back in the day. I don't know what's going to happen, man. Now, I don't think that fight's going to happen. That's the fight that we all wanted to see at 154. But Boots is going to need an opponent. And I saw an interview with Eddie Hearn. He said, you know, I'm still hoping that the Virgil fight can happen, because that is the best fight at 154 that can be made. But if it doesn't happen, he's got other options. I mean, Zayas is the WBA, WBO champion. Josh Kelly holds the IBF. I think Josh Kelly is promoted by Matchroom with Eddie Hearn. So I think they'll do Boots versus Josh Kelly. So if he can get past Josh Kelly and become the IBF champion, full-fledged IBF champion, because right now he's a WBA interim champion, and I don't like these interim titles. You guys, if you have been following me, you know I hate the interim titles. I hate the intercontinental titles. I don't like any of that. I understand why they do it, to build guys up. But when you're at this level of Boots and Virgil, you don't need an interim title. Just be the #1 contender. So I think if the Virgil fight doesn't happen, you have Boots, Josh Kelly. Fedora is about to fight Keith Thurman. I have no idea why, but because I think Fedora should have fought Virgil before this whole thing even happened. Because Virgil is the WBC interim champion. I don't know why. They should have made that fight as soon as he beat his last fight in Fort Worth. Virgil should have fought either Boots, and if that wasn't going to happen right away, Fedora for the full-fledged WBC title. So you do, if that doesn't happen and Virgil gets drug out in court with Golden Boy, you do Boots versus Josh Kelly. He becomes IBF champion. Zayas has a WBA, WBO. You do Zayas, the winner of Fedora or Thurman. And then if Virgil can come out at the end, fight Fedora to unify. If Fedora can get past Thurman, you do the winner of Fedora Zayas. If he gets past Thurman versus Virgil to unify WBC and possibly WBO. And then you get the winner of Boots, Josh Kelly for the IBF and become undisputed. Like this is my whole thing. Become undisputed. You want to be undisputed. You don't want to have a piece of the title here, a piece of the title there, because then everyone wants to call themselves a world champion. And you are, okay? In your own right, you're a world champion. But you're not the best at that division. You know, that's one thing that I know that a lot of boxing purists hate about Zuffa coming in and having their own title. But I guarantee you, whoever holds that title is going to be the best in that division. I know Jay Opataya is coming up soon. I wish they would give him bigger fights, man. Like, I don't want to see Jay Opataya fighting in fucking the goddamn Meta Apex on a Sunday versus a no-name person. Like, he wants to be undisputed. So they need to do better at that. I will say that. Zuffa needs to be better at that. He needs to be having big fights in front of big crowds so he can, you know, push his name out there. He needs to be undisputed at cruiserweight. You know, otherwise, how is he going to get the winner of Gilberto Ramirez and Benavidez? Even though there's talks that Benavidez wants to go back down and fight Better Biv or Bivol, whatever the case may be. Jai Opataya deserves to have a fight for undisputed, and then that will hold more weight in that Zuffa title. If he can become undisputed, hold all 4 belts, the Ring Magazine title, and the Zuffa title, that brings a lot more to that belt. Holds a lot more weight than if he just didn't, you know. But back to 54, there's a lot they can do there. It just depends on what happens with Virgil and Golden Boy. I hate that this is happening to him, but it is what it is. It's like I said, guys, boxing is a business, and it's an ugly business. So hopefully Virgil can come out of this sooner than later and get a good fight. Hopefully versus the winner of Fedora and Thurman. We'll see how it goes, but that's what I have to say at 154. I want to highlight the fight this past weekend, Emmanuel Navarette versus Sugar Nunez. Navarette pitches almost a damn near shutout. Stops Nunez in the 9th, the doctor stoppage. The only round I had Nunez winning was the 8th. But, man, Navarette is a fucking dog, man. And I cannot wait to see what's happening for him next. He's at junior lightweight. He unified the IBO, WBO titles. So he's got a lot on the horizon for him. I really like Emmanuel Navarette. So, he unified the WBO and the IBF. So, yeah, he's got a lot of good stuff, a lot of good promise heading into the future. Let's see. Bam Rodriguez, according to Robert Garcia, is going to stay with Matchroom. I was watching Ellie Satback. Shout out to Ellie Satback. He was with Robert Garcia and Mikey Garcia at their ranch, one of their ranches. I'm not sure. I think it was Mikey's ranch. And they were just asking questions about the Conor Benn situation, leaving Matchroom, going to Zuffa. And he said, Robert said that Bam has been getting offers, but he's a loyal guy. He opened up like his own coffee shop. That was his dream, to open a coffee shop. I believe he has one now in San Antonio. He goes, but Bam is a loyal guy. He likes Eddie. Whatever they were offered by every other promotion, whether it be Zuffa or Top Rank or whatever, he didn't rush the gun. He didn't pull the trigger early. He let Eddie Hearn and Matchroom match. He goes, I like where I'm at with Matchroom. And as far as what Robert Garcia says, he's staying with Matchroom, and I love that because I truly believe that Eddie Hearn is the best boxing promoter in the world right now. And that's a lot coming from me, a Mexican-American, and Eddie Hearn is an English boxing promoter, but I really like Eddie Hearn. I really do. And you guys have heard me praise him over and over again. I think he is the best boxing promoter out there right now because he really cares about his fighters. I mean, if you ask Dana White on a Zuffa card about any fight on there, he might know the top 3 fighters or whatever. Even on a UFC card, he barely knows all the guys on the card. If you ask Eddie Hearn, he knows every single one of his fighters from top to bottom. He can tell you, about their wives, about their kids, where they live, what he thinks about them. Eddie Hearn really does care about his fighters. So I love that Bam is still with Matchroom Boxing, man. And I hope it's going to be a great relationship moving forward. And I have no doubt that Eddie Hearn's got to give him the best fights moving forward. The Inoue bout is probably on the horizon. He says he wants to take Bam back to San Antonio to a big homecoming. He might move up a weight class to catch another title while they wait on what's going on in his weight class right now because they had a mandatory. The mandatory guy didn't want to step aside, regardless of money, because they offered him money to step aside. He didn't want to do it. He wants a shot, which is respectable. But he goes, in the meantime, we might take Bam back to San Antonio for a homecoming fight for possible another title in a different weight class, and then he'll move back once all that gets settled. So I'm glad that Bam Rodriguez is staying with Matchroom. The last thing I want to cover, Rico Verhoveen, who is going to be taking on Alexander Usyk for the WBC heavyweight title of the world, was on with Ariel Helwani today. Shout out to Ariel Helwani on Crown. But Rico said that after he left Glory Kickboxing, he had different options. He could have went to the UFC. He was talking with Turki Al-Sheikh, which was the actor. Oh my God, I just forgot his name. The Transporter. Oh my God, it's gonna drive me crazy right now. Let's see. Oh man, I can't believe I forgot. But in the meanwhile, he said that he went to talks with the UFC and they gave him a decent offer. But it wasn't a lot more than that he was getting in Glory Kickboxing already. But he's really good friends with Jason Statham, the actor Jason Statham. And Jason Statham loves the fight game. He loves kickboxing, boxing, MMA. He's always at all the fights, and he got really chummy with His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh for the, I believe it was the Crawford-Canelo fight, or it might have been the fight before that. And he said he was going to put a good word in for him. And this is all on the Ariel Helwani show. And he said that he had brought it up to Turki Al-Sheikh, and that there was a possibility that they could put Rico Verhoveen against Anthony Joshua. And this was in talks late last year. And it was almost a full go. And then, of course, the unfortunate accident happened with Anthony Joshua, where he lost his 2 best friends in Nigeria. So then that got put on the back burner, but he had already had a training camp set up in Spain. So he went ahead and went through with the training camp. And then that he had mentioned that, hey, what if we do like an undisputed versus undisputed? Like Rico Verhoveen has been almost undefeated, unbeaten in the last 11 years in Glory Kickboxing. 13 straight heavyweight defenses in Glory Kickboxing, which is almost unheard of because he's fought the best of the best in kickboxing. So he was like, what if I do my undisputed crown versus Alexander's undisputed crown, which is not really undisputed now because he got stripped. I think it's the WBO. That's what Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois are going to fight for here in the next coming weeks. But they loved it. Turkey was like, yeah, I'm all in. We're going to do it. So that's how it started. It was initially going to be Rico Verhoveen versus Anthony Joshua. The accident happened, and now it went from Rico to Alexander Usyk at the Pyramids of Giza. He said he was offered to fight Derek Lewis in the UFC, but he said it was a decent offer, but it wasn't the offer that he was going to get from Turkey Al-Sheikh. I don't think anybody can match that money. Whatever you could get from Turkey is going to be way more than what you're going to get anywhere else. So it sucks, and I think that just shows the pay difference between the UFC and boxing, especially when you have such a big name like Rico Verhoveen and, of course, the great Alexander Usyk. So, yeah, he turned down the fight with the UFC and the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, Houston's own, who I love very much. But now he's going to get the best in the world, undisputed cruiserweight king, undisputed heavyweight king, former Olympic gold medalist in Alexander Usyk. And he's going to have his hands full. I don't think Rico has a chance, but it's a good way for him to make his way in boxing and earn a big bag, because he's going to get the biggest bag from Turkey Al-Sheikh. So that's all I got for today on the boxing side of this, guys. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications. Never forget, watch fights, drink pints. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.